talking about my previous video about OCD, where you're focusing on automatic bodily functions. So it is called, I've done some research, it's called sensory motor obsessions. Yeah. Sensory motor, I believe is how you say it. Um, but that is basically what I was um, explaining is when a person obsesses over certain things that the body does. For example, breathing. Um, when a person sits and they count how many times they're breathing, or they focus on the process of inhaling air, exhaling air, and it becomes like this crazy thing where you cannot stop thinking about it, and it becomes really distressing, and you think in your mind that if you stop thinking about it and you stop um, trying to control these bodily functions, that something bad will happen or that you will stop breathing. So I've written down some examples of sensory motor obsession. Um, breathing. Whether breathing is shallow or deep, it is the focus on the sensation of breathing. Blinking, it is the focus of how many times you blink. Or all of these is like the physical act, the physical requirement it takes you to do these things. So breathing, it takes your chest coming up and down. You feel it, and it takes inhaling air. Another thing is swallowing, and this amount of saliva in your mouth. All of this information has come from the International OCD Foundation, which gives an incredible amount of information, recovery, support, resources. But another thing that I focus on, which I guess I never really thought I did, but when I'm looking at this video right now, I look at the way my mouth moves. And apparently that is one of these things, movement of the mouth and tongue during speech. So yeah, when I look at a video, or when I'm looking at myself right now in any of these videos, I'm looking at my mouth, which is weird, and I become very like focused on the way that my mouth moves when I talk. Another thing is eye contact. How So when you look at someone's eyes, you're obviously not looking at both eyes necessarily. Your eye darts from looking at either of their eyes. And another thing that OCD sufferers may do is become hyper aware of trying to focus on which eye it's going to look at when you're making eye contact with somebody. And I guess I've never really done that much research into it. I just thought that was a normal thing, because I I hate to say that I don't like making eye contact, because I know eye contact is very sincere, but I do struggle with always thinking like, if I'm gonna look this person in the eyes, which eye do I look at, and will they see me, looking at the different eyes, and you become distracted by that. Another thing is pulse and heartbeat. So like I was saying before, if you're laying down or laying in bed and you're trying to sleep, you can begin to hear your heartbeat or feel your pulse, and it becomes a sensation that takes over your brain and you physically cannot stop thinking about it. And the thing that causes so much stress is thinking that you have to think about this stuff or that you'll never be able to stop thinking about this. Um, I don't know if any of this is making sense. I'm trying to understand it myself because I feel like this is more common than we think. However, I've never met anyone or told anyone this that agrees with me. Um, so yeah, it is it is a weird thing to cause distress to you. Another thing is, awareness of specific body parts. Example, the socks sensation on my feet, um, the way my pants feel on my legs. It's I don't. So the definition is fears of this type of hyper awareness of automatic bodily function. The fear comes from feeling like once you start thinking about it, that it's going to be impossible to return to the previous state you were in where you didn't think about it at all. So if I start thinking about the way my socks feel on my feet, then it becomes distressing because you're almost like, okay, now I can never stop thinking about this. It's going to drive me crazy. So the only thing